Hi, everyone. Flying solo tonight, I thought I would field a question that came in from one of my colleagues. So the question is, Michael, was there a book that changed how you looked at instructional design? That's a good question, and I would say most definitely yes. There is a book that changed pretty much everything for me. Okay, the book was called How Learning Works: 7 Research-Based Principles for Smart Teaching. And no book has ever opened my eyes to more possibilities than that one. I really have to say that honestly. I say it was titled that because it's recently been updated to 8 research-based principles. The authors are teachers and educational researchers, so they're always updating their findings, which is awesome. I'm going to get a hold of it, but I became aware of them through the earlier edition. When I read that book several years ago, I was really just blown away because I'm always looking for ways to take what I'm studying and be able to use it and explain it to teachers and help teachers with these ideas. I need things to be applicable and actionable. I'm a hands-on kind of designer. I think teachers are hands-on kind of people too. I need to say to a teacher, I think this learning principle is really important. Here it is. I think I have a way to utilize it in your classroom. I have a design idea where we could really tap into this learning principle. That's how I work. Coming in now through this portal, if you will, of how learning works, just opened my imagination to so many things. It made complete sense to me. No longer was I just thinking about course design, from a pedagogical or curricular framework. I was thinking about design around how we learn. And not to take away anything from those frameworks. They're very important and they should be learned and studied and used. But only when I really went through the portal of designing for how we learn did my imagination open, because now everything I thought about, everything I did or wanted to do was important and had purpose because it was getting toward how we learn. And it really just made all the difference in the world to me, and how I spoke to teachers about design and how I designed. So let me give you a few examples of what I mean. One of the principles in the book has to do with targeted feedback. So direct practice coupled with targeted feedback enhances the quality of student learning. When I read that, I was like, targeted feedback, what is that? What does that actually mean? How do we do that? And it got me really thinking, if feedback is really that important to learning, how do we optimize it? How do we give it? How long do we wait before we give it? Can we automate some of it? I know a lot of you teachers have 200 and 300 students. Is there a way to tap into technology or the LMS to automate a bit of the feedback? Can we measure the feedback to see if it really helps, how it helps? Can we measure that? So a cavalcade of ideas and came to me, because now designing feedback mechanisms wasn't sort of an add-on thing. It was a core principle. It was a core way to design that not only was the lecture and the assignments going to help with learning, but the feedback and how you give it is also going to create this feedback loop, if you will, and help with learning. So it just opened my imagination. The same thing goes when I learned how important metacognition was. The idea that self-directed learning, for self-directed learners, students have to really be able to monitor and adjust their own learning practices. And it come to find out, we don't really do it much. Students usually don't employ a lot of metacognitive tools to their own learning. Turns out they need help doing that, and teachers need help designing around that. Well, again, I was off to the races. I helped faculty create reflective assignments, journal assignments, explanation assignments where, not only tell us about this thing, what you know, how did you learn it? Where were your pitfalls while you were learning it? What were your stumbling blocks? What was easy for you to learn? How would you explain it to someone else? This all becomes part of presentation ideas and assignment ideas for students to tap into their metacognition and learn about their own learning. Just became something that I got really interested in and wove it into my design. So I could go through all the principles. I don't want to make for too long a video. I think that we should continue this conversation either through a couple more videos that I make, or maybe we could have a live session. I could invite all of you into a Zoom session and we could talk about these principles in the future. I think I'll set that up. So let me close by saying, give this book a look. You will not be disappointed. It may change your whole outlook on instructional design. It definitely changed mine. And thank you to the authors. And thanks for your time, as always, my friends.